If someone told you that there are roads you can enter but can never leave, would you still drive at night? Because last night I took a shortcut. At 12:47 a.m., I saw a man standing on the road. I didn't stop, but a few seconds later, he was sitting in the back seat of my car. And that's when I realized some roads don't let you go. They make you stay.
It was around 12:30 a.m. when I was leaving the city. I had to reach another town, and this old highway was the shortest route. During the day, the road looks completely normal. Dense forest on both sides and a long, straight path in the middle. But at night, everything feels different. The trees look as if they are waiting for something. Soft music was playing on my car radio, and the road was almost empty. I glanced at the clock, 12:47 a.m. For some reason, that time gave me a strange feeling. A few miles ahead, I noticed someone standing on the side of the road. A man. He was perfectly still, wearing a long black coat, his head slightly lowered and his face half hidden in the glow of my headlights. It felt strange to see someone standing there so late on such a deserted road. As my car passed him, I looked at him for a moment. His eyes were fixed directly on me. He didn't wave, he didn't ask for help, he just stared. A cold chill ran through my body. I pressed the accelerator and drove ahead. After a few seconds, I tried to calm myself. Maybe he's just a local, I told myself. But then, a strange thought crossed my mind. I slowly looked into the rearview mirror. The man was still standing there, and it felt like he was still watching my car. A few minutes later, the road became even quieter. Then suddenly, two bright headlights appeared behind me. Another car. I assumed it was just another driver, but something about it felt strange. The car behind me was matching my speed perfectly. When I drove at 70, it stayed at 70. When I increased to 80, it did the same. Even when I slowed down slightly, it kept the exact same distance. Curiosity got the better of me, and I looked into the mirror again. Between the headlights, I noticed something strange, like a figure standing in the light. At first, I thought it was just my eyes playing tricks on me, but after staring for a few seconds, I could see it clearly. Between the two headlights, there was a man standing. My breath stopped. The car was moving, so how could someone be standing in front of it? I blinked and looked again, and what I saw next made my hands tighten on the steering wheel. It was the same man, the same black coat, the same face. The same man I had passed just a few minutes earlier on the side of the road. My heartbeat started racing. I pressed the accelerator harder, 90, 100, but the car behind me was still there at the same distance, as if some invisible force was tying it to my car. The forest around the road seemed darker now, and a thin fog slowly spread across the highway. Then, suddenly, my car radio began to crackle with static. Shh. I tried to turn it off, but the button didn't respond. Then, from within the noise, a voice slowly emerged. It was soft, cold, almost whispering. "You are late." A chill ran down my spine. I immediately looked into the mirror again. The headlights behind me were still there, but this time the driver's seat was empty. No one was inside, and yet the car was still moving. At that moment, I noticed something on the road ahead. I slammed the brakes. The tires screeched and the car stopped suddenly. My headlights lit up the road in front of me, and there he was, the same man, the black coat, the empty eyes, and he slowly started walking toward my car. My hands were shaking. I quickly locked the doors. Only one question kept spinning in my mind. If that man is standing here, then who was driving the car behind me? Just then, the same voice returned on the radio. "We have been waiting for you." I looked at the clock again. 12:47. The same time. It felt as if time itself had stopped moving. And then I realized something even more terrifying. Among the trees on both sides of the road, I could see several figures standing in the darkness. All of them were looking directly at my car. And in that moment, a horrifying question formed in my mind. Does this road actually lead somewhere? Or does everyone who enters it simply become part of the night forever?
I slowly looked back at the rearview mirror again. The man standing in the middle of the road had come closer than before. His walk was slow, but with every step, it felt like he would suddenly appear right in front of my car. His eyes were still empty, as if he wasn't just looking at me, but recognizing me. My fingers trembled on the steering wheel. I quickly started the car and pressed the accelerator. The car jerked forward and the man disappeared from the headlights. I kept driving fast without looking back. After a few minutes, the road was empty again. The radio was silent and the forest had sunk back into the same dark stillness. Slowly, my breathing began to calm. I told myself that maybe it was just fear and exhaustion playing tricks on my mind. But then I noticed something strange. The road looked exactly the same. The same turn, the same trees, the same broken milestone. A few seconds later, I saw the milestone again, and my heart skipped a beat. The same number was written on it, 47. I had passed this milestone before. I shook my head, telling myself it must be my imagination. But the farther I drove, the more I realized that no matter how far I went, the road wasn't changing. I looked at the clock, 12:47, the same time. Not even a second had passed. My hands turned cold. Then suddenly, the radio in my car began to produce the same static noise again. Shh. I looked at it nervously. This time the sound was clearer. "You are still here." I tried to turn the radio off, but the button still wouldn't respond. The voice came again. "Are you looking for a way out?" My throat went dry. I couldn't even speak. Suddenly, my headlights began flickering faintly. The trees on both sides of the road were moving, but there was no sound of wind. And then, I saw him again. This time not at the side of the road, but standing right in the middle. The same man. But this time, he wasn't alone. Behind him stood several other figures, all completely still, and all staring directly at my car. My heart began racing. I tried to turn the car around, but the moment I moved the steering wheel, the car suddenly shut off. The engine died. The headlights went out. Now there was only darkness all around. And in that darkness, I began to hear footsteps slowly approaching. Thunk, thunk, thunk. As if many people were walking toward my car together. With shaking hands, I tried turning the key again. The engine made a sound once, then went silent. The footsteps came closer. Now I could see shadows outside the windows. Many faces, all completely emotionless. And standing in front of them all was the same man in the black coat. He walked right up to my car window. Then he slowly raised his hand and gently tapped on the glass. Knock, knock. My heart almost stopped. Then, in a calm voice, he said, "Now it's your turn." Before I could understand anything, the car radio suddenly blasted on at full volume. And through that noise, I saw something appear on the dashboard screen.
a map had suddenly opened. But the map showed only one location, Night Route 47. And beneath it, there was a message, "Next driver, you." At that moment, a terrifying question formed in my mind. Is the only way to escape this road to send someone else onto it?
My hands were shaking. The faces of the people standing outside the car were calm, almost as if they already knew what was about to happen. The same man stood in front of my window, slowly smiling, his fingers still resting against the glass. I turned the key again. This time, the engine suddenly started. The headlights flashed on, and for a moment, I could clearly see all of them standing there. But something strange happened. When the light touched them, their bodies began fading away, dissolving like smoke in the darkness. I immediately pressed the accelerator and drove forward as fast as I could. A few seconds later, I looked back. The road was empty again. No people, no shadows, just the same endless road cutting through the forest. My heart was still racing. Then I looked at the dashboard screen. The map was still open, Night Route 47, and under it, a new line appeared. Driver active. My hands went numb. What did that mean? Had I become part of this road now? I tried to calm myself, telling myself that once I reached a highway, I would leave this road forever. A few minutes later, I saw the lights of the city glowing in the distance. For the first time that night, I felt relief. But just as I approached the highway, I noticed a car parked on the side of the road. Its headlights were off, and faint smoke was rising from the hood. A man was standing beside it, waving his hand, asking me to stop. I slowly pressed the brakes. When he came closer to my window, he said his car had broken down and asked if I could drop him in the city. For a few seconds, I just stared at him. A strange feeling crept into my mind, like this moment had already happened before. Then I glanced at the dashboard. The map screen had changed by itself. Now it said, "Next driver, waiting." My breath froze. I slowly looked back at the man, who was still waiting hopefully beside my car. And suddenly, I understood the truth. There was only one way to escape this road. Someone else had to take your place. My hands stayed locked on the steering wheel. The man spoke again, asking if I could give him a ride to the city. For a moment, I said nothing. Then I unlocked the door. As soon as he sat inside the car, a new message flashed on the dashboard. Driver transferred. The same old radio voice echoed softly through the speakers. "Thank you for completing your route." I pressed the accelerator and drove straight toward the highway. Within minutes, the bright lights of the city surrounded me. I finally exhaled in relief. But at that exact moment, a quiet voice came from the backseat. "So, have you ever heard about Night Route 47 before?" My heart stopped. Slowly, I looked into the rearview mirror. The man sitting behind me was smiling, and his eyes were completely empty.